Welcome to the Baltimore Breakdown Podcast, featuring your mother's favorite podcaster, Ook, with Cakes Mitchell, baby.
What is going on, guys?
What up?
My name is Cakes Mitchell.
And I'm Ook.
And together we are the Baltimore Breakdown.
Yee.
And football is almost back. Training camp started. People report it. Practices have started. People are in pads. We've got a good look at some of the players. And
Hold up. There you go.
that was disgusting. I apologize to everyone's ears that were just violated.
That was a good one.
So let's just get into the first topic. I mean, there's not really too much to talk about other than some players and things. And we want to start off with the first story of the day. And I'll let Ooker take this one. And it's just Lamar Jackson being promoted to quarterback 2 ahead of RG3.
Yeah. So, I mean, kind of the first step that we all... He's got some more flies in here. Lord of the Flies. First step in kind of what we've all expected to happen, which is, eventually him succeeding Joe Flacco and kicking him out to the curb and us getting rid of that burdensome contract that's handicapped our team since 2012. So yeah, it's just kind of the first step in that progression we've all expected to happen. RG 3 and 10 has been...
We all expected to happen.
Yeah. All of us people that, have some semblance of intelligence that aren't in kind of the world of delusion, suffering from delusions of grandeur from Joe Flacco's 2012 playoff run. But yeah, to continue on.
Just the greatest quarterback run by any quarterback ever.
Sure. But, Blind Squirrel does find a nut every once in a while, as I've been told.
As the best quarterback in postseason history.
What's that?
The best quarterback in postseason history?
No, that's not true. I can't let you get away with that one.
11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions is tied for the best. I mean, statistically.
Oh, in one run. I thought you meant all time. No. In one run, sure. There's a case for that.
Anyway, go ahead.
I'll go when I please. But yeah, so RG 3 and 10 has been relegated to the third string, which, I mean, is probably where he belongs. Back-to-back 3-win seasons when he was with the Redskins before departing there. Hence the name RG 3 and 10. I think it was back-to-back years he had started off at 3 and 10. There's a lot of flies in this house here. But yeah, I think this is kind of what we're going to expect to see. Lamar Jackson's continuing to climb the depth chart. Eventually, he's going to be the leader. He's going to take us to the future. He's going to win a lot of games for us. And I think this is an exciting step. I mean, he had a really sweet touchdown pass that he threw to the undrafted wide receiver that we had. I don't remember the name of the receiver, but I saw the video from in practice the other day. Beautiful ball. He dropped back in the pocket, looked extremely comfortable there. Flung it like it was nothing, just zinged one in there.
Can you turn your watch off?
Yeah, someone's blowing up my watch. I don't know. But anyways, I don't know how to do it. But yeah, we're just going to have to deal with it. But
just take it off and put it in the other room.
No, but yeah. Here, I'll hand it to you so you can put it in the other room while I'm finishing my rant here. If I can get it off. But I think Lamar's looking really good. He's impressing a lot of people in practice. John Harbaugh's even alluded to like how his flash in a pan, so to speak, plays or his exciting plays are really starting to make people think. I mean, he's making heads turn in practice. He's doing a lot of good things. He's really athletic. He's throwing the ball well. And I think this is an exciting thing, and I think for all of us intelligent Ravens fans out there, this is just a sign of what's to come. This is just step one, and it's a beautiful thing to watch this man grow into a future franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lamar Jackson obviously is a great talent. First round selection in the draft. I mean, obviously he has some talent.
Heisman winner.
But I think people are just a little too excited for him to get on the field.
Hold up, did Joe Flacco win a Heisman when he came out of Delaware? I don't know. I don't remember. Can you refresh me on that?
A lot of people are just getting ahead of themselves with Lamar Jackson. He's not under any actual danger or pressure right now. He's throwing balls to people in shorts. So to undrafted rookie wide receivers. So let's calm down there a little bit. A lot of quarterbacks can do very impressive things under no pressure to wide receivers, and throw 40-yard bombs. Like
That's true. But would you say that there's probably a lot of pressure associated with someone that's in the run to win a Heisman Trophy? Probably a little bit, right?
A little what?
A little bit of pressure associated with making a run towards winning a Heisman Trophy. Maybe a little bit.
But it's not like he hasn't been in pressure situations before.
Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been in
Were
big
you
games.
alluding? It sounded like you were alluding to the fact that you don't know how he's going to react under pressure. We know how he is, right? He's a winner. He's a Heisman Trophy winner.
In college.
Right.
This is the NFL. It's a big set. There's a lot of first-round busts. There's a lot of players that you think are going to perform really well, even look great in training camp, and then just don't perform well.
Not like Lamar Jackson, though. He's
Even
a
if we
different
look
breed.
back, we look back to last year in training camp, Brashad Perriman looked like he was going to be the real deal. People were talking about. I saw reports on the Baltimore Ravens website and everything, and everyone was talking about how Perriman was going to take the next huge big step in his career.
But Perriman has been riddled with injury troubles.
That's,
that plays a
fair,
big part in that.
But it doesn't take away from the fact. I mean, last year injuries didn't hold Perriman back from performing. It was he just couldn't perform.
Well, yeah, but that could be as a result of him losing all that time in development, or his body just failing him in regards to injuries. I mean, you don't know for sure. I'm not saying that you would know for sure.
But there's other people that have looked good that have been busts.
Sure, but I think my argument here is Lamar Jackson is a different breed. This guy is a savage.
I'm saying you don't know what's going to happen until you put him on the field.
He's a winner. He's going to do well.
You want him to do well because you're tired of Flacco. So you in your mind, create the scenario where there's no situation in which Lamar Jackson cannot be a good quarterback.
Sure there is.
Because you don't want to believe it in your head.
He could break his arm.
Even if he's healthy and you put him on the field, there's a chance that he's just not going to be able to make that connection to the NFL level. It's possible.
I think with the way he's been performing, everyone's super impressed
It's
with him.
training camp. He's not under no actual pressure.
This man has consistently performed in pressure situations throughout his life. He is a winner.
Going back to like Perriman in the training camp, it's a little bit of a different situation. I understand that. But Perriman was making these outstanding catches in training camp. He was looking like a legit number one receiver. And then the season started, and he just was nowhere to be found.
But
it's a different situation, but the same thing could happen where Lamar Jackson looks really good in training camp, and then he gets put into a game, and he could just fold under the pressure. It's possible that could happen.
I don't think it would be folding under the pressure. I think if he were to not succeed, it would just be not able to adapt to the difference in the game. But I don't think that's a thing either, because he came out of a pro-style offense. He came from a rigorous pro-style offense.
College is different than NFL.
He is built to understand the NFL game and to make those reads and to be able to adapt on the fly. And that's what I think separates Lamar Jackson, because quarterback, unlike wide receiver, you're trying to make the comparison to a wide receiver as a vastly different position. In quarterback position, intangibles are almost maybe 50% of the battle. Would you not agree with that?
Yeah, I
Leadership ability, intellectual capability, decision making, things like that are probably half the battle when it comes to the quarterback. It's about half mental. All the teammates that he's been around and the people that he's been around in the Ravens organization, John Harbaugh is a well-respected, well-accomplished Super Bowl championship coach, as well as a lot of his other teammates. He's already garnered their respect and is becoming a leader in that locker room as a rookie. You don't hear about that too often. He's commanding that respect. He's showing you that he has the intangibles, whereas other players that maybe have come out of college and they're talented and things like that. For example, Johnny Manziel, Heisman winning trophy quarterback, but he didn't garner that respect. He didn't command that respect and have that leadership in his first year. People kind of knew what the deal was with him because he wasn't taking things seriously.
Has Lamar Jackson really taken that leadership role? I don't see a lot of people looking to him for guidance.
I'm not saying in that capacity, but he's commanded that respect. The teammates respect him. They respect his talent. They say he's in there working hard. He's getting better.
I mean, he has a lot of raw talent.
That's intangibles
I think people can
too,
respect
though.
that.
People are noticing his intangibles already. He's making a big impact. I mean, you see news stories getting picked up from around the league, not just focused within Ravens training camp. Around the league, this is being talked about because this is a big topic because of the impressions he's making in training camp and in the preseason.
I think people are overhyping the entire situation because they look at someone like Joe Flacco, who hasn't performed the best in the past couple of years, and they see an exciting, really fun-looking rookie that, I mean, our offense has been crap the past couple of years. So you see someone that is so electric, and I think people are just getting so excited about that they are just hyping up the situation to be bigger than it is. Let's let Lamar sit for a year, learn under Flacco, learn under a system, learn how to be an NFL quarterback, and take our steps to make sure that when he does get that chance and that opportunity, which he will, that it'll work out. Because if you throw him into the fire too early, I think it's a bad idea.
I mean, how many other quarterbacks out of the draft class this year, even ones that were ahead of Lamar Jackson, are you hearing this hype storm surrounded by?
None, because
maybe Baker Mayfield, that's it. And that's for a reason. Lamar Jackson is special. He is different. He is a different type of talent.
He's also getting a lot of that because he's been compared to Michael Vick, and he's not the traditional pocket passing quarterback. I mean, a lot of the other ones, Josh Rosen, all these other...
Neither is Baker.
Which is why he's also being talked about.
I don't think that's purely the reason they're being talked about.
And Baker Mayfield is also...
I think Baker has a lot of off-the-field things, which is why he...
But when you're being compared to Michael Vick, I mean, that's the reason why you're getting so much talk.
I don't think the Michael Vick comparison is even a fair comparison. Who's comparing him? I haven't seen anyone compare him to Michael Vick.
Michael Vick compared himself to Michael Vick.
Who did?
Michael Vick said he looks better than me when he was in college.
So that's not comparing him. He's saying he's better than him.
A lot of people have compared him to Michael Vick.
I haven't heard it.
I'll pull some news stories to show you, after the podcast.
Okay.
There's been a lot of people that compare him to that. So when you have someone that's exciting as a Lamar Jackson, people are just so excited to watch him play, which is I'm actually excited to watch the preseason because I want to watch him play.
I'm really excited. This is probably the most excited I've been for one of our preseasons in quite some time.
But for him to take the QB2 spot isn't that I'm not as what's the word I'm looking for? As I expected RG3 to become the QB3 because he's riddled with injury problems and Lamar Jackson
RG3 and 10 baby.
I kind of expected this to happen.
Well, I think all of us expected it. That's why, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, even
RG3 only signed on for a 1-year deal, so it's not like...
He's going to take the number 2, and then, 3 or 4 games in, he's going to take the number 1 role. This is all kind of what everyone's expecting at this point.
You are crazy, and that leads us in beautifully to our next topic, and this is Joe Flacco lighting up training camp, looking so good.
Not as good as Lamar, but yeah, I mean, he's all right.
They said Flacco has been looking even one more year after his back injury, looking so much more, they say he's looking so much more fluid in the pocket, able to be mobile when he has to be, making sharp throws, looking like the leader of our offense, just looking so good, connecting with his wide receivers, and I'm so excited for Joe Flacco this year. He has that chip on his shoulder. Whenever he's in a pressure situation, he's going to perform well for the Ravens. And now that he has Lamar Jackson right behind him, I think this is going to be his best year in the NFL. He's finally got some talent around him. Willie Snead, I think, is an underrated receiver that's really going to break out this year. I like John Brown's speed. Don't sleep on Perriman too much because I think he's going to make the team within the special teams. I really want him to be a returner. But I think he's going to break out in special teams and work his way back up the depth chart, beating out John Brown for the speedy receivers role. And then you have Crabtree, who I think is going to be a phenomenal over 1,000-yard receiver this year. I'm so excited. And then you have, who's our new tight end? Hayden Hurst. Apparently he looks great, but he's been held out of practice for a couple days due to, I think it's a tissue issue. But, man, Flacco, so excited. He's 100% healthy. He's back. He's got receivers. This is the Flacco that I'm so excited to see, and for everyone to see, because he hasn't really had a good receiving core since 2012, and now he's really going to be able to showcase what Joe Flacco can actually do, the elite quarterback that he is.
Are you done with your obscene diatribe? My God, I didn't sense a hint of bias in that diatribe you just went on there. Not one hint. Listen, as much as it pains me to say this, I do like that Flacco is coming out and being a little bit vocal about his situation, which he hasn't been in the past. He's normally someone who looks disinterested, especially since he got his money. Once he got that money and went to that McDonald's and, got that McDonald's after his $100 million check came through, it seems like he hasn't been focused on doing much but but eating burgers and kind of just counting his money. But I must say, I do like that he seems a little bit worked up and a little bit vocal and a little bit defiant, as the reports suggested when he was at his press conference the other day. I think this is a good sign. I think it might end up being what he needed to be pushed. I don't know. I don't know how he's going to react to this. I don't know how he's going to perform, because as I had alluded to in past podcasts that we've done here, we haven't seen what Flacco is capable of when his job is on the line. When he's under that kind of pressure, he's always had kind of the silver spoon, the job is his, and no one was a threat to take that job from him. So I am interested to see how he reacts, but I do like seeing a little bit of emotion out of him. I do like seeing that he's interested and that he wants to compete. I think that's a good sign, and that's tough for me to say right now, but that's just the honest truth of the matter. Interested to see how things turn out between him and Lamar. I still think that Lamar is the quarterback of the future, but with what I'm seeing and hearing from Flacco, he might be able to possibly extend his career with the Ravens, maybe another year and a half or two maybe. But we'll see what happens. I'm interested to see on both sides how this plays out.
So what do you think, Flacco? Because I think a lot of people said that Flacco's probably going to have a breakout season this year for him to keep the starting role next year for the Ravens. What do you think Flacco would have to do statistical-wise to keep that job?
I don't really look at it statistical-wise to a certain extent. He can't play abysmally and get carried into the playoffs, but if he keeps us in the games and is almost even a game manager and we get to the playoffs, I think he buys himself possibly another year. I don't see him, unless he plays out of this world, I don't see him making it past the end of next year. Wake up. Cakes, wake up. Sorry, guys, Cakes fell asleep. He was dreaming. Had to wake him up from that. But, yeah.
No, I think if Flacco puts up, I don't even think he has to put up 4,000 yards. I think if he puts up close to 4,000 yards, has a pretty good, like a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio.
I think as long as he makes the playoffs and at least game manages, he'll get the chance to.
But I think even if Flacco plays average this year, I think they're still going to make the playoffs with the way the defense has been playing.
I mean, it's possible. Like I said, if he plays average, as long as he doesn't get dragged kicking and screaming, kind of like LeBron James dragged his team to the finals, if something like that happens, then I think they're going to make the switch and cut him, because we can cut him after this year and be able to not take the cap hit, so to speak, on it, as Adam Schefter had reported earlier in the beginning of the offseason. So I think if he plays average and just doesn't get dragged to the playoffs, I think they'll give him another chance, because it'll give Lamar a chance to develop more as well.
I think a lot of the players and a lot of the coaching staff would feel more comfortable with Flacco in that starting role this year. The offense is kind of built around him in the sense of, like, we brought in Hayden Hurst, the tight end. Flacco loves his tight ends. He loves that guy he can throw a jump ball to with Crabtree in the end zone. He loves his speedy receiver in John Brown and Perriman. I mean, the offense is built for Flacco, so I think...
So no excuses.
Exactly. This is the year that I have been waiting for Flacco, because other than him not having a lot of chemistry with those players...
So you're not going to make any excuses if he doesn't perform this year?
No, because this is the exact situation in which I've been wanting. Flacco put in a situation where he's worried about his job with Lamar Jackson, so he's very urgent about everything. He's got the receiving core that he needs. Granted, it's not like the greatest receiving core in the world, but it's good. It's way better than what he's had the past couple of years. And Crabtree, I think, is a great pickup for us. T.O., I heard, is back on the free market, so maybe we'll pick him up.
T.O., that would be fun.
That would be fun.
Let's have some freaking fun. Bring T.O. in. Get your popcorn ready.
How cool would that be, though, just to bring him down in red zone situations?
Hey, I say let's do it. Let's have some fun.
I mean, how much money could he want? He probably would do it. He wouldn't do it for free, but he was talking about even going to the CFL to play.
I think he'd do it for the league minimum, which is, what, $200,000 or something for a starter?
And I would love to just swap out one of our receivers to put him in.
T.O.'s a big guy. If you've seen him, he's still in shape. T.O. is a fit guy. We could get him in for some end zone packages, get a big body receiver in there.
If there was a team to pick up T.O., we're definitely the team to do it with Ozzy's history.
Him opposite Crabtree. Yeah, Ozzy does love those aging receivers. T.O., typically I'm against the Ozzy aging wide receiver thing.
And that would be Ozzy's last bang, too.
But I'm not against it when you only have to pay them $200,000. When you can take a flyer on someone for that little of an investment, especially with a Hall of T.O. arguably number 2, if not 3, all-time receiver ever.
So you just tell T.O., don't even worry about going to practice. Just show up.
Bring your popcorn.
Take jump balls.
Take jump balls. Get opposite of Crabtree. Have Crabtree on the right, T.O. on the left.
That would be really fun.
And we have 2 big body receivers in the end zone for some targets, along with Hayden Hurst going across the middle.
That would be fun. Definitely not going to happen, but that would be fun.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you might have dreamt about that when you were dreaming about Flacco having his best season. You might have seen T.O. in there. That might have caused you to bring it up. Might be a subliminal kind
When's the last time Flacco had a decent receiving core?
Steve Smith Sr.
Receiving core? More than one.
2013? Probably.
2013 when Torrey Smith was the number 1 receiver?
Who else did they have?
They got rid of Bolden. They just had... I don't even remember who was on the team.
Maybe 2012 then, but he had some good ones before they.
So when he won the Super Bowl,
they had some good ones before they won the Super Bowl too. We had people like Derek Mason.
Oh, and he made the playoffs every year in the AFC Championship the year before we won the Super Bowl.
He didn't win it though, and he didn't put up.
He didn't
put up great numbers.
He put the ball in the end zone to win the game, and Lee Evans dropped it.
Did you see his numbers in 2012 also in the regular season?
Postseason.
Regular.
Post.
We got to include it all.
Flacco put us in the situation to win the game.
What? Defense? Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, Peloti Nada.
Flacco put the ball in Lee Evans' hands beautifully, and he dropped it.
What were his stats in the regular season?
You got to talk about his full body of work, and that means up to the point.
Average out the playoffs with the regular season. Still mediocre numbers.
Flacco won us that game, and Lee Evans lost us that, and Cundiff too. But Lee Evans lost us that game.
Sure, but that doesn't disregard what he had done in the regular season. Very mediocre. Flacco has only been above in the top 15 in QBR, I think, twice in his whole career.
He was also a young quarterback at that point.
He's not that young.
Not anymore. Give him some receivers.
But he hasn't done any. Even in 2012, when he had the quote-unquote good receiving core.
It wasn't even that good of a receiving core. He had Anquan Bolden and Torrey Smith. I mean, it's pretty good. That's all right.
Didn't they also have T.J. Hushmanzada?
No.
You sure?
100%.
Was that the year before they had T.J. Hushmanzada?
Probably, because I don't. It definitely wasn't Super Bowl year.
I don't know. I feel like he didn't play much. They had Jacoby Jones. Jacoby Jones made the miracle in at Mile High.
Right, but he was not relied on to be a wide receiver.
Hey, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have made it to the Super Bowl.
100%. I think
and he returned that kickoff.
He did.
Yeah.
But he wasn't relied on to be a receiver.
He was for one play, and that one play got us to the Super Bowl.
That's fine, but I'm talking about the receiving core. Flacco had Bolden, Torrey Smith, and Dennis Pitta.
I mean, Flacco, if you want to say Flacco won us games, you credit Raheem Moore for winning us that game against the Broncos with misplaying that ball the way he did. I mean, Flacco didn't do enough to carry us.
Flacco saw an opportunity and let it fly.
Saw an opportunity. Oh my God. I hope our Broncos fan friend isn't listening right now, because he's screaming into his phone right now saying Flacco made that happen. That was Raheem.
Flacco made that happen.
Oh, that was Raheem the Dream Moore, baby.
No, that was all Flacco, and Jacoby's chemistry was on point for that play.
All right. I'm interested to see how that develops with one of our friends later. But anyway, carry on.
All right, guys, that's enough of Flacco talk for today. We'll move on to that should just be a segment, Flacco talk. Let's go on to the next story here, and this is C.J. Mosley a premier linebacker in the NFL?
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I think 100%. I think there's no question. You can make a case that he might be the best mid linebacker in all of football. I think there's a couple names that come to mind when you think of the top mid linebackers in football. You've got Deion Jones from the Atlanta Falcons. He's a phenomenal player. I mean, they're all these guys. There's a thing in common that's kind of begun to transpire with mid linebackers, and that's speed. And that you really kind of saw that start with Patrick Willis back in the day when he was playing for the 49ers, you see the top end mid linebackers are guys that can flat out fly. I mean, you used to see Patrick Willis run down receivers from behind, like that guy was that fast. And Bobby Wagner is somebody that you have to throw into that conversation, and he kind of exhibits that speed too. Him and Deion Jones probably can keep up with the most receivers in football right now. They're that fast. I know in Madden they're both like 90 speeds, which for a mid linebacker is insane. I feel like you got to put Ryan Shazier into the mix as well when healthy. Obviously, you know, he had that unfortunate injury, but I think he's the fastest linebacker in football right now. He can straight up fly. I mean, he's everywhere. And CJ's a little bit different than those guys. I mean, he's definitely in the mix, but he's fast. Don't get me wrong, he has speed, but he is not a Patrick Willis, he is not a Bobby Wagner, he's not a Ryan Shazier in terms of that just elite speed where he can kind of keep up with wide receivers. But I think he makes up for it with a lot of the mental aspects of the game, player recognition, instincts. I think he has really strong instincts.
He can also pack a hit.
And he's very good at tackling. I mean, I think that's kind of an Alabama thing that gets coming out of Alabama, but he's a physical, tough guy. And I think where some of the other top-end linebackers right now rely on a little bit of athleticism, he relies on that physicality, that intense style of football play, which is perfect for Baltimore, and those football instincts. I think he certainly has to be in the top 5. So yeah, I think that would qualify as a premier backer. What about you?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm going to be a little, I guess, a home fan here, but I really love CJ Mosley a lot. He came into the league after Ray Lewis retired.
You know where he also came into?
What's that?
Your work.
He did. He did. But CJ Mosley had a very tall task when coming into the league. Ray Lewis just retired, and they draft CJ Mosley, first-round pick.
21-year-old kid out of Alabama.
Hey, kid, can you live up? And you're now the replacement for Ray Lewis. And he has just taken his stride. He made the Pro Bowl 3 out of 4 years, except for that god-awful year in 2015 where almost all of our starters got injured. I mean, that was just a really tough year. But he has just been great for us, and I think a lot of people are relying on him to be that leader for the defense, like the quarterback of the defense. And he's not really a vocal guy on the field that's really going to shout and everything like a Suggs or Eric Weddle. But he's just really sound. He knows the game. Like you said, he's a little bit iffy in coverage at times, but I mean, and that's due to his not being the fastest guy in the world, but every other attribute that he has, I think, is just phenomenal.
He is fast, but he's not next level fast. For example, you go back 10 years and put CJ Mosley in the game 10 years ago, he's one of the fastest linebackers 100%. In football. But that kind of change in that position because they're asked to do more with the way these tight ends are, how these athletic these tight ends are these days. A lot of these times these guys got to cover these tight ends, these Jimmy Grahams, these Rob Gronkowskis, these back in the day Vernon Davis who used to be able to flat out fly. But I think he is fast. It's just a different game these days.
And like you said, I think he fits perfectly with the Ravens being from Alabama and also just having that smash mouth football.
We like our Alabama guys.
Having that smash mouth football kind of play style. So I really love it, and I think 100% CJ Mosley is a premier back in the league.
Where would you put him?
It's hard for me to say. Definitely top 5, but
yeah, easily top 5. It's just a matter of where you fit him in. All those guys are so good.
I just hope that we pay him sooner rather than later.
We got to keep him around. He has to be a priority.
And he said that he wants to stay in Baltimore. I think all indications show that he is going to stay.
I would imagine so. The type of women he would bring into your restaurant, right? Have one on each arm, you said?
Yeah. He's the man. So, yeah, CJ, I'm so excited for. Hopefully we sign him to his deal because this is his 5th year, his franchise year. So we need to lock him up. I was kind of hoping that we get everything done before training camp started and sign him to a long-term deal, but hopefully that happens before the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think he has to be a priority, if anything, really.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next topic, and this is going to be talking about Josh Gordon, so I'll let Ukaduku take this one.
Yeah, so some news broke out, I think it was today, actually, that Josh Gordon had kind of talked about his demons and his struggles with sobriety and his mental health issues and things like that. And he's not showing up to the preseason because they put him on a non-football related illness or something like that on the active.
Non-football illness.
non-football related illness, and I know I saw a quote or something like that on Twitter earlier that he wanted additional help in counseling and things like that from the Browns organization and things like that in an effort to keep him away from going back to his old habits, indulging in drugs and alcohol and things of that nature that he uses to cope with what he had described as his anxiety and mental health issues. He uses those as a coping mechanism. So I think he wanted to kind of put a safety net in regards to that to try and really minimize the chances of him screwing this thing up once again. And that's kind of a topic that's been circulating around the headlines throughout the league. And I think, I don't know if I'm more sympathetic than other people, but I think this is a good thing. I think him having that awareness, whether this be a PR statement or not, it's kind of hard to decipher that, because in today's world, they always have, everything is run through a myriad of people and approved before anything kind of goes to the public for the most part for most players. I mean, some guys, you can count on are just going to be off the cuff like a Terrell Suggs. He's just going to say what he's going to say. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it's a pretty calculated league in terms of public relations and the way that you put a statement out there in today's league. But I think this is a serious thing. I think he's being truthful here. I mean, he's had a lot of struggles with drugs and alcohol, which, a quote that I love is, you can never get addicted to something you didn't try. So I don't necessarily feel sorry for him because he did bring him on himself. But I do understand that people make mistakes, and I do believe that people have the ability to learn and grow from those mistakes and change. And I'm hoping that's what this is, even though that would be bad for us in terms of the Ravens. I don't wish this kid to, he's immensely talented. I don't wish him to not be able to have a career and things like that because of some bad decisions he made that got him addicted to certain substances, especially if he's struggling with mental health issues, if that is the case. I do have a little bit of sympathy for that because, you never know what that's like unless you've kind of had that, and I haven't really had what he is described to having, so I don't know how that would drive someone in terms to try and find relief from that mental kind of that mental pain that someone could be in. So I do give a little bit of a pass in that regard if that's in fact true. If not, then that is a dumb decision they made, but I still don't think that should cost someone their whole career. And if he is in fact being truthful in all this and he is seeking the additional treatment, I think that's a good sign. I think that shows a sign that he's aware of his situation and he spent some time reflecting. Anytime you kind of have that level of awareness where you're able to identify what things lead you to do certain things, I think that is a sign of someone who's maturing a little bit, who's understanding themselves more, and who has done some self-reflection and knows what things cause them to tick and can cause them to make irrational decisions, and he's taking the necessary precautions to try and mitigate the chances of these things happening again. So I think that's good. I think it's good for the league because he's a Hall of Fame type talent. He's a very talented player. It's definitely good for the Browns, and I think it's just good for everyone because I think I'm not the type of person to just so we win a game or two more. I don't want to wish this man to not be able to have his career and fulfill his dreams because no one grows up as a kid wanting to be a drug addict, but I'm sure many people grow up as a kid wanting to be a Hall of Fame wide receiver. So I hope he has a chance to pursue that dream and give a second chance and make it work this time.
Yeah, I really hope Josh Gordon figures everything out because, his talent is just incredible, and I'd hate to see someone's whole entire career go to waste because of something that has to do with like drugs or anything like that. So I'm glad he's going through the proper care to get everything done because I think he's realizing like this is his last chance. This is his last chance.
This is it.
So,
and he's only getting that because he's so talented. You see what happened to Johnny Manziel.
Yeah,
Johnny Manziel's not getting.
Josh Gordon shows that he is can be an elite wide receiver.
100%. That's why he's getting, because Johnny Manziel's not getting that chance because he's not the talent that Josh Gordon is.
So Josh Gordon showing how talented that he is, I don't want to see his talent go to waste. Even being a Ravens fan, I just want to see him play. I want him to get over that hump. As Stephen A. Smith would say, stay off the weed.
I think it's a little bit more than that with old Joshy boy. I think it might be a little more than the weed. But,
hopefully he stays off of it. Hopefully this is a sign showing that he is serious about this being his last chance and he's trying to get his life in order and he's just ready to play football. So although I'm not excited to play him twice a year,
especially with him and Juice Landry.
That's a crazy. Imagine Flacco with that talent.
As I said a few podcasts ago, that might be the best 1-2 receiving core in the league. I mean, think about it. 1-2 opposite each other. Who do you think's better than that talent-wise?
I don't think I
mean, Julio's by himself pretty much. AB's by himself pretty much.
I mean, even if you say AB and Le'Veon, because he's basically the number 2 receiver.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to count Le'Veon, sure. But, I mean, in terms of pure receiver, they might have the best 1-2 punch. So, yeah.
So, man, not excited to play him, but hope he gets his life in order because he's an incredible talent. And watching him play is just... It's fun to watch. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on Njoku, too. The Browns tight end. I think he is going to have a breakout year. He showed some
flashes last year.
I think he might be a breakout tight end.
Amidst the disastrous Deshaun Kaiser experience, Njoku somehow managed to show some flashes.
Because I had Njoku on one of my fantasy teams.
I remember.
So I kept up with him, and I like him a lot. Like, I really like his build.
He's athletic.
He's very athletic. So, yeah. All right. We'll move on to the last one, guys. And this is David Johnson kind of amping up for his comeback year. So do you think he's going to perform as well as he did 2 years ago? I remember taking him last year in fantasy, or was it 2 years in fantasy that he got hurt? And I was just so upset. So he's finally coming back. Do you think he's going to have a breakout year this year? Do you think he's going to...
Well, side note, I had the first pick in one of the leagues I was in with Cakes here last year in fantasy football. And I ended up taking Le'Veon Bell because ultimately last year it became down between Le'Veon Bell and David Johnson. Yeah. And I made the right decision with Le'Veon Bell, but Le'Veon Bell didn't have the best year either, so it was really kind of frustrating for me. It looks like either way I was kind of going to be screwed with having the first overall pick last year. But anyway, do I think David Johnson is going to have the success that he's had in the past? Hard no for me. I actually think he's going to struggle mightily. I think the Cardinals' their window is closed. Carson Palmer's retired. Larry Fitzgerald is on his last. I keep thinking he's on his last leg, but he keeps performing. But I think without having a Carson Palmer, he had a
pretty good year last year, didn't he?
Yeah, he's a wonder. But I think with the quarterback struggles that they probably will have at this point, I think Fitzgerald's numbers are going to decline. They got rid of Tyrann Mathieu, which was a peculiar decision for me. He's one of the top safeties in football, and they just kind of let him go and cut him. I don't understand that move at all. But, I mean, you saw it last year. I picked up Adrian Peterson last year when the Cardinals picked him up. I had Kieran Williams, whoever it was. I had pretty much all the backs that they had used when David Johnson went down from waiver wire pickups, and they just really struggled to run the ball at all in general. Like, the offensive line wasn't doing particularly well. It was tough to watch. I mean, Peterson had one game where he had over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, and after that, they struggled to get over like 50 yards a game on the ground. It was really tough to watch, and I think that is indicative of not just David Johnson's performance, but all the pieces around him contributing to an effective running game. And I think coming back from a serious injury that he's coming back from, combined with their ability to run the ball in general last year with Carson Palmer, combined with again having a new quarterback in there, a young quarterback, I think their offense is gonna struggle mightily. I think there's not gonna be a lot of balance to it. They're gonna be playing the run game to shut down David Johnson, knowing that he's coming back and they have a young quarterback, because a lot of teams are gonna anticipate that's what they're gonna lean on, because typically when you have a young quarterback, you try and lean on that running game and defense, especially when you have a big name running back such as David Johnson, and I just don't think he's going to be able to come back with all those circumstances against him, and coming off an injury to perform like he used to. I see him maybe barely getting over 1,000 yards, if that.
Yeah, I still don't think it'd be a bad year for him, but as much as I want to disagree with you, I agree with you. I don't think he's going to have a bad year by any means, but a lot of the workload is going to be thrown on him this year, and coming back from an injury like that is I haven't gone through it, but seems to be very stressful. Like, you see other players coming back from an injury like that, it just seems like it's a lot, and you can't expect someone after 1 year to perform at their top their top performance. And David Johnson, incredible talent, but I think that this injury at the time that it happened was very unfortunate. I'm not sure when his contract's up, so maybe another team will pick him up if he's done this year, next year with the Cardinals, unless they want to offer him a boatload of money. And they might make a mistake and do that, because I don't think David Johnson's going to be David Johnson the way that we remember him.
I don't either.
So I think that about wraps it up for us today, guys. That was the Baltimore Breakdown. Talk about Lamar Jackson being promoted to quarterback 2. Flacco looking great. C.J. Mosley, a premier linebacker in the league. Josh Gordon getting hopefully through his struggles. And David Johnson maybe making a comeback.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
Yeah. And then, hey, guys, tweet us what you think on these topics, too, going forward. If you have any thoughts or you disagree with Cakes or somehow...
Or mainly...
somehow disagree with me, yeah, let Cakes know. Let us know. Shout it out to Cakes on Twitter. Cakes, plug your Twitter in real quick.
Just follow me, guys, at Cakes Mitchell. We also have a YouTube channel now.
Yeah, we got YouTube now.
Just look up Baltimore Breakdown.
With video.
I mean, the video's not great. We'll be working on everything, but we're just going to work on everything as we go. So you guys can see the progression of everything from...
Yeah. Let us know what you think. Give us ideas for topics, too, that you guys are interested in.
Yeah, and if you guys are on YouTube...
Tons of feedback.
If you're on YouTube, in the comments, just leave... suggestions for topics that you want us to cover, or if you're on the podcast, just go ahead and tweet.
And make sure you bang that subscribe button, mash that like button into the ground, and leave a 5-star rating on iTunes Podcasts.
That was my attempt at being like one of those YouTuber guys that have their little outros like, smash that like button.
All right, guys, that's the Baltimore Breakdown. My name is Cakes Mitchell.
I'm not saying anything because you're just going to say we're not doing that, or you're just going to try.
No, I'm not, dude.
You're just going to try and make me look bad.
I'm not. Go ahead.
However we end this.
Go ahead. Please. I really want
I see you smiling.
I really want you to do the outro. You're really good at it.
Yeah, and that's how I know you're lying. Like you're a bad liar. I can see it right through your teeth. You guys that are watching on video, you can see this guy grinning like the little snake that he is.
Oh my God. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. This was the Baltimore Breakdown. We're out!